much for inviting me to speak. And just before I start, I'd like to thank John, because he's one of the people who, from the beginning and right through and at every twist and turn of our campaign, has given us complete support and backing. And I mean, I think that I'm probably the first trade unionist to be sacked under this government. But we know, with what is planned, both in terms of the onslaught on our services and the austerity policies that they want to rain down on us, and the attacks on trade unions that they're promising, that unless we turn the tide and make a stand, then I won't be the last. And the people who work at the National Gallery did have a very bad week last week, because it started with the election results, and literally a week later I was sacked. And I have to say, I'm incredibly proud to work there, because despite that, and despite having already taken 23 days of strike action, people voted unanimously to step up the action and to take 2 more weeks of strike action. And I think that's a reflection not just of the fact that, you know, I love the people I work with to pieces, but it's I think after the initial shock of the election, there's been something going on around the country that, you know, people have been galvanised actually into thinking, well, we ain't got no choice, we are going to have to stand up and fight. And there have been stories going round the conference here about the protests that happened in the immediate aftermath of the election, with 4,000 people organised by school students at a Facebook event in Bristol, and demonstrations in Cardiff and elsewhere around the country. And I think that's, you know, it's a similar thing really after people pick themselves up in terms of why the National Gallery took the decision that we have done. I guess the other thing is to say that we have, I mean, we've had the kind of backing from PCS that a dispute should have, from the bottom to the top really, and to have called this demonstration, you know, it's in 10 days' time now, but on the 30th of May, as a response to a local dispute, but really leading from the front, PCS saying we're going to make a stand to support us, I think is fantastic. In terms of why we're on strike, then the National Gallery has had cuts in their funding. Their response has been really, I mean, I think the simple answer is to say that they've been given a green light by the government to have an attack on the union. That's what they want to do. They want to dismantle the union at the gallery in order to push through the changes that they want to bring in. And these are changes which are really about, they want more events that will raise money. They want more fundraising events. They want more events for the rich backers and their multinational sponsors. And to do that, they want the staff to work 24 hours a day with for no extra money. And that's why they want to bring in the privatisation, and that's why they want to get rid of the union. And in terms of why I've been sacked, then last July, when we first heard about the privatisation, we had a national day of strike action in PCS over pay, and it happened to be just as we heard the news. So people were really angry. We had a very solid day of strike action. We didn't just shut the gallery, we shut it. They had to close the building and send the shop and the restaurant staff home, and obviously that didn't suit the National Gallery, and so they brought in this private company called CIS to run a bit of the service, and they've extended it bit by bit, and they are basically a strike-breaking force. They're not when we're there normally at work, they're surplus to requirement, but they're there to run the services when we're on strike, and they're using public money to do that. And we think it's probably over £1 million that they will spend on them altogether. And I've been sacked for trying to find out how much of our money is being spent on that. And it is a disgrace because, you know, the National Gallery is ours, we pay for it, they're our paintings, and if you think what you could spend £1 million on, in terms of if you gave it to the education department, what they could use it to widen access to people who don't normally go to the gallery, to, you know, get to different people to enjoy those paintings, and instead they want to turn it really into a playground for the rich, like, you know, everything else in this country, where the Tories are very happy if you've got money, you'll get the education, you'll get the culture. And so private profit hasn't got a place in our public services, and we have to fight to, you know, to make sure that we keep alive that idea of what they should be, and then fight very practically to defend them. We're pleased that in terms of that, I mean, we're up against a small bunch of people. I mean, Mark mentioned, the chair of our trustees is Mark Getty. He is a millionaire. He didn't pay his staff even the living wage. It's scandalous. We're proud that during the course of the strike we have forced them at last to promise to pay the London living wage. Something else we felt that we'd achieved during the strike was actually to get some of the political parties nationally to come out and make statements. And as I've said, I mean, John's been fantastic, and a number of MPs have signed early day motions and been incredibly supportive. But it wasn't until we went on strike, I think we'd already taken 3 weeks of strike action before we got the Labour Party to make a statement about the National Gallery. And it was then not a statement that said they were against privatisation, which probably won't surprise you, but they didn't even call for a moratorium on the plans in the lead up to the election. And, you know, maybe if they had, I mean, they did promise that they might intervene after the election, but that was a private promise. And to be honest, if we had had a public statement, maybe we might have won by now. And on a more general level, maybe the Labour Party might have won the election on that basis. And I'm sure in this audience we don't think that Labour lost the election because they were too left-wing. So, I mean, I guess we've all got the problem that we don't have the anti-austerity alternative to vote for. We don't have that option at the moment, and that's a big challenge for all of us on the left, and we need to debate and unite around developing that. In the meantime, we have no choice but to fight back against the attacks that are coming down the line. And I mean, I agree, I think we need more strike action. That's what we need. Of course we need a general strike, of course we need national strike action. To build that though, and to get there, then I think we've got to make sure that anybody who is fighting back, that we give them the support and we make sure that they win, and that we, you know, link the struggles that are going on at the moment together. And a message that we've got from the National Gallery is that if we can do it, anyone can. Because if you'd asked us 6 months ago, what kind of strike action do you think you should take? Our favourite form of strike action at the National Gallery was 2-hour strikes. If you told us that we were going to take 24 days of strike action and then we were going to escalate it, no one would have believed that. The reason why we have been able to do that is because I think we felt the fact that people want to stand up against austerity. We felt it in the support and the solidarity that we've had, which has united. It hasn't just been PCS, it has been the trade union movement, but it hasn't just been the trade unions either. And we have had lots of different groups. I think we've used social media really well. But basically, people are asked to support us, they want to. And we've had donations of £5 here, £10 here, from all around the country. People who are never going to set foot in the National Gallery in their life, who've given us that kind of support. So that shows us that we can win, but it also means that I think we can all take heart from that it is possible to build that movement, and you can see that in the response since the election. So we're asking people to give us support financially, because it's the only way that low-paid workers can continue to fight, to a key date, and some of you won't be able to come, but publicise it, support us, invite us to a meeting here. People have all been organising bring and buy sales in Cardiff in support of the National Gallery. There's those sorts of different things, and we hope that if you do that and support us, it won't just be then a victory for us that's important to us, and it is important to me and to the other people in the gallery, but we need those victories as stepping stones in the movement that we need to wipe the smile off David Cameron's face. Yeah,